So once again, up comes the issue of demolishing this house before the jurors get a chance to even visualize it. I mean, even standing from the road and looking at it, they won't get that chance. And that is so important. I mean, can you imagine what this would look like? That house gone, right? No, boarded up windows. No, nothing. They won't be able to see anything. It'll be a big open space of something that allegedly happened there. Obviously something happened there, but it's like they won't know that. It'll be this huge blank slate. That is just wrong. They will not be able to see this. It will just be gone. And nothing will be there. They won't be able to see how the sides walk up, the drive, how close they are to the neighbors, or, how big the house was, like in retrospect to the neighbors' homes and stuff. You'll be able to see all the way to the back up to the Volenta, where you won't be able to see the different blocked areas or anything. Nothing. They won't see how tall the trees are to the side of the house, or just the ratio of what existed there, just what that is. That is so important. I know I'm not making any sense with some of this stuff, but I don't care. I'm not feeling so great today, so I'm just winging it. But you guys will get what I'm talking about. I know you will, because you're smart. They won't be able to see how far the walkway was, straight on down, how the house was facing, what the house saw from the back and from the front and from the sides, how close it was with the parking lot to the road. Just all angles. They won't be able to see any of that. They won't be able to see the blood that was seeping out of the side underneath the bedroom window, or by the bedroom, on the other side of the bedroom, there. Or under the bedroom. You guys know what I'm talking about. On the side of the house, on the foundation. They won't be able to see that. They won't be able to see what the other houses, how their visual is to the King house. They won't be able to see what area that they would be able to see when they looked out their windows. Or where the cam was on the front of the audio cam. How far it was from there. The distance, the visual of it. The actual visual, seeing it in real life. They won't be able to walk around and see all angles of this house. From standing here, how close it is to the Queen Road apartments. Just a hop, skip, and not even a jump. I mean, it's literally right there. How far the parking lot is up as they walk up the back in between the trees. How far after the parking lot is the house on the hill. None of this. They won't be able to visualize any of this. As they're walking around, they're going to be crunching on the ground. It's going to be real. It's a real, like, they're not going to be watching a video of a 3D whatever of how this house was. That makes no sense to me. You're not there. You're not feeling it. This is feeling it. This is being right there. You can literally put yourself right there because you are there. A 3D visual or a 5D, 4D, 15G, 20G, I don't care. Or D, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're not there. They're not smelling the air outside. They're not, by chance, if they go in, they're not smelling what it wasn't like there. The chemicals, whatever was left, whatever. They're not, this is not attacking their senses. Their senses need to be attacked to get a full feel of what happened at this home at 1122 King Road, or Queen, depending on who you are. They won't see around the back the trash that's still left there that was never taken. Maybe not ever processed, in my opinion, because it's still there. whatever's left there that the animals didn't get to and other things. They won't see the screen off the window or the cinder block underneath the other one, or under that same window. They have taken a lot of stuff away, obviously, which should never have happened, in my opinion. And, not to mention, they weren't even wearing gloves when they did it. Half of them weren't anyway. Kind of makes me wonder, the ones that were wearing gloves, would their fingerprints show us something if they were in there? Just curious, because there's ones that weren't wearing gloves, so were they, they weren't worried about it because their fingerprints wouldn't bring anything up? But what about the ones that wore the gloves? I don't know, just certain things like that make me wonder. Since there's this banner down there, you can't see it too much, but down there, behind, where it's all boarded up, they won't be able to see where the red berries from the tree, or the bed up there, what they left there, the fur that's still left on there, that could have been tested. There might be something on there that they didn't do. There's so much evidence still at this home, in the surrounding area, and in the, right there, right in the immediate. It's there. I mean, they won't be able to see how the homeowner let this be. This is a slumlord. He's a slumlord. We just have to admit to that. Look at this deck. It's about ready to fall down anyway. They need to be able to see this stuff. This stuff is important. Very important. This they won't ever see, except for in pictures. But look, they've just walked out of this house. And look, none of them are wearing gloves, except for the one ISP guy, who is literally, and I mean literally, has his hands in everything. He is wherever they go, he is there. The one carrying the tote, that's exactly who I'm talking about. In fact, if you go to the, I'll do a video of it eventually, but if you go to where they're serving the warrant on BK's apartment, if you watch him in the beginning when he's putting on gloves, before he puts on his gloves, you need to look at his hands. Real good, too. His hands, he looks like he's been in a freaking fist fight, like a tear down, like just a balls to the walls fight. His hands are messed up. He puts on 2 pairs of gloves. There's some fingerless ones, and I think then a full set over top of that. But his hands are messed up big time. And he's, like I said, he's everywhere. Just keep an eye out. This guy is all over the place. Why? Why can he go back from one to the other? Why does he go back from Washington to Idaho to Washington to Idaho? How come they all can intertwine in this case and in other cases, not just this one? It's like they're, I don't know. It's just like they all have to be involved and on the up and up on everything, because they all like, both places are so intermingled, that's why. It's like, it's one place. It's like between Wazoo and University of Idaho. It's pretty much one place because they all know each other so well and intermingle.
School. That.
All right, then you've got this one. How those guys all went in there when they did, just didn't walk the grid, didn't do nothing. They just trampled the place. They were so reckless with this crime scene that it should go down. Actually, you're right. I'm right. It should go down in history as being such a mockery of an investigation that it should go down in history. I want you to look right here. He's inside this house on the 13th, and look at, he's got his hands in his pockets, but he has no gloves on. He's got no mask on. This house is allegedly covered in crimson, litter everywhere. It's seeping out the walls on one side. Yet he's in there with no mask on. No booties, in my opinion. I don't see any booties on the below this banner. You can see his hands are in his pockets. Doesn't mean anything. He had to open that door. He had to get in there somehow. His hands, what if he happened to trip and had to pull his hands out of his pockets and put fingerprints wherever he was falling to? Because his hands would come out in order to stop his fall, right? Yet he's in this house on the 13th. This is early on, too. This is right in the beginning. And he's walking around in a crime scene, a quadruple stabbing. What the heck is going on? Stupidity is what's going on. Plain and simple. Stupidity. Who are these people? Who are these people, and why are they covering it up? In my opinion, they're covering it up. I mean, look at them all there. Look at them all there. Contaminating that crime scene. No one should have went in that house to begin with. I mean, of course, they're going to have to figure out who is in there, whoever walked in there, obviously, when the call came in. But after that, that house should have been on a lockdown. No one should have been in there except for the crime scene investigative forensic teams or whatever you call them. Not trampled by students. In my opinion, there was a reason for that. That was a plan. And the plan could have been told to these students by the law enforcement, in my opinion. I believe that was the plan from the get-go, because they needed this place to be contaminated. They needed it to be stomped on. They needed it to be, because they'd already been in there and well aware what the situation was in there, in my opinion. So how contaminated do you think a crime scene could be if they are standing like directly right outside the door, first of all, taking these booties off? I mean, at least she's wearing booties, right? But they're not wearing face masks. And it's not showing his hand yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion he doesn't have any gloves on. And he probably doesn't have booties on either. Because Blake plays his own game, right? He does his own thing, right? We've seen that in all of the body cams, and all the noise complaint body cams. He doesn't give a crap. He just does what he wants to do, and he says what he wants to say. He threatens. You name it, he does it. Look, he doesn't even look like he's upset. Look at these people. Look at the looks on their faces. If you were walking into that house in the first and foremost, wouldn't you think that at any given time your face would be all like messed up? You'd be like anguish on your face. You'd be like concerned, stress. You'd be crying. You'd be whatever. They hadn't had a murder since 2015. And so a lot of these people have never seen this before. But look, they don't look like it's touching them one little bit. No problem here. Nothing to see here. Just another shot of who knows what Blaker's looking at over there. Something's got his attention. Does it look to you that he doesn't have any gloves on? Kind of looks like that to me. I don't think he's got gloves on. Blaker, that is. And here comes somebody else that has no mask on. And what's with the ladder? Using it as a tying point for their tape. How come the ladder has never been processed? How come it stayed out there during all the weather? In all of the elements. Ridiculous. Unbelievable. Once again, mind-boggling. Hard to even fathom that they could even think about not bringing that ladder into evidence, or at least, which will have to be in evidence anyway, process that ladder. That ladder, from all of the times we've ever seen those body cams, has never been standing up on its side like that. It's always been laying down. So why now is that ladder up on its side, standing straight up, and not laying down? And if the police are actual police and they know what they're doing, they would have remembered that from the times they went there for the noise complaints, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to have this in their visual. They're supposed to remember things like that. But all of a sudden they can't remember? Must be a reason. Look at all of them. Is that Gunderson over there? Isn't he the one that had the Brady Giglio, or Giglio Bradio, whatever it's called? Braylio Giglio? Said it all wrong. It's just something so wrong about this whole thing. They won't be able to see that they didn't process that whole area up top there on that deck. All the stuff that was left there. Another thing is that, I don't know if you guys noticed this from the very beginning, but where the tree is off to the right here, the two tall ones right there was a tree right down to the left of it that had been broken off, like somebody jumped and it had broken off this tree or bush. That was never brought up either, but it was there. See, and there you've got, right there, you've got the, I don't even see the cinder block anymore, but it could be blocked by the banner, but where the screen was off the window, where the cinder block was underneath it, the garbage, look, the garbage is still there, and I highly doubt this is probably an older photo, but they never took that garbage. That was right outside that patio sliding door where they said the perp allegedly walked out of and possibly into. And so why wouldn't they take that garbage if the perp walked right by it? Why? Because they're covering something up. There's certain things they didn't want to take. They were lazy. They only did what they wanted to do in order to cover up what they needed to cover up, in my opinion. Okay, now they're taking the stuff out of the house where they should not have done any of this. But I want you to see here in just a second. Watch this. What is so important that they would be shaking hands on this? Is that shaking hands like, good job covering it up, good job whatever you did? And I've always wondered what this dude behind Blaker's looking at down there. He's looking at something and he's intently looking at it. I've always wondered that. Handshaking, whatever. Look at them good old boys doing what they do best. One headed up there, up around Queen. These two coming around here. What they talking about, I wonder? Oh boy, and don't get me started on this. Can you believe this even happened? And when in the history have you ever heard this, that the police chief takes it upon himself to drive a U-Haul, back it up to this house where there was just a quadruple murder, and in order to get back personal belongings to the people that lived in this house, their personal belongings. Well, for Christ's sakes, two of them allegedly won't even step foot back in Idaho. They don't want to even testify or any of that. They don't want nothing to do with it. Why would they want anything in that house? Why would they? And how dare you take away the evidence from a crime scene on your own accord? I mean, before defense even has the chance to get in here. They haven't even been able to get into this house yet, and they're taking this stuff away. I mean, they were going to go clean this house. They were in the process of cleaning this house when a court order came through for them to stop what they were doing. That's just unbelievable. They were going to clean a crime scene before defense had a chance to get in there. Another one. Let's take this and put it right down in history, because it's about unbelievable practices with this department. It's nuts. Here we go. We got the guys taking stuff out. There's the chief right there, handling this red orange suitcase and a pillow. Who wants a freaking pillow, you guys, that's been in a crime scene? You tell me that. Who's going to use that pillow? Who? Not only do they put stuff in this U-Haul, but they also pack up the back of these trucks and the cop cars. Yeah, no, I'm not joking. I know, it sounds unbelievable, right? Yeah, well, trust me, it happened. Unreal. Look, we've got bags of shoes. You know, we've got all sorts of great shoes in here that could be tested, but haven't. I mean, the one on towards the bottom actually looks like there's blood on the bottom of it, in my opinion. It could be a pair of Vans as well, too. Yeah. Interesting how they would go in and do this. Another little view of it. Oh, those are Vans on the bottom that I was talking about. Yep, see that right on the back of there? Anyway, all my opinion, it's pure speculation. Like I said, this case is just mind-boggling. And this Bryan is deemed guilty and not innocent until proven guilty. The media, everybody has deemed him this guilty person, and no one. And the way things have been botched so much, how can we even speculate that, even think that in our brains, because of the way this case was handled? This case was handled this way for a reason. They botched this case for a reason. They went and they stomped on evidence for a reason. They went in there without gloves and booties and masks for a reason. To taint the crime scene, to tarnish it, to make it so where only the things they bring up are the things that they're going to consider as evidence. They're not, I mean, it's sickening. And it's scary, you guys. It's scary. You think about this. You think about this. You turn this around, put yourself in his position, say it was you, and this is happening to you, and just take this in consideration, what they did with this crime scene. And let's say you know you're innocent, you know you didn't do anything wrong, yet this is what's happening to you, and you can't do anything about it, because this is a corrupt state, in my opinion. And some towns are much worse than others, but Idaho is its own country, put it that way. That's all, I've always said that. Idaho is its own country. It dances to its own music, it plays its own drums, yeah, all that good stuff. And there's story after story after story after story after story of people that have been taken down because of corruption and have spent many, many years, if not life, in incarcerated because of it. Jeez. Imagine yourself being innocent, knowing how innocent you are, yet you are now to spend the rest of your life in prison or in front of a firing squad. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because they've been doing this for a long time, and they're good at it. Not good at it in the eyes of people like us that are looking at it and seeing, breaking down this kind of stuff and seeing things that other people, like in the news, like when I went to that Thanksgiving, and then there was a student there from Wazoo, and I was so excited when I heard she was from Wazoo, because I just wanted to pick her brain, right? And I asked her about it, and she knew nothing about it. She didn't know because she was studying. She was doing her thing. She was going to school. She was doing what she should be doing. And she was listening just to what the news is. She wasn't going on to how we're doing this and picking this through on our own platforms and stuff. No, she was just listening to the normal news. And so she had no idea what any of this other stuff is all about. And that's the same with a lot of people. Probably most people, actually. So when you bring this up to anybody that doesn't know anything about it, and they've only heard about it on the news, they think you're crazy. They really do. Like, you can't, and you know so much, and all the things, this and that connects to that, and that connects to this, and that, blah 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 blah. And they're just, I mean, they can't even hardly, well, they can't fathom it because they can't even like absorb it because there's just so much. I mean, just think how long we've been doing this, right? And think about trying to explain this case to somebody who doesn't know anything about it. You would blow their brain up. I mean, literally, they'd be like, "Oh, I gotta stop! I gotta take a minute," you know. And I understand that. I totally get it. Totally get it. But just think, being innocent, but he's been there for over a year now. In my opinion, he's lucky he's still alive
because in that
state, country, finger quotes, I think a lot of people probably go missing. Trust, yeah, I pretty much think they do. At the hands of, things like this. So, anyway, this is crazy, and so we'll see what happens. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.